What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be giving some of my thoughts on all the natty or nots that you see all sorts of fitness YouTubers and fitness content creators make. I'm going to be separating this into pros and cons, so just for the sake of finishing on a good note, we'll start with the cons and we'll get right into it. So I think the main cons of natty or nots are, one, the separation that it creates between different influencers and the beef that it creates, and number two, the constant suspicion that has been brought since natty or nots have kind of become a common trend. So what I mean by the separation and beef between different content creators is, let's say that there's a content creator who makes a natty or not on somebody who is natural, and then the content creator goes on to believe that they are not natural. That could light a spark that causes separation between them two, and at the end of the day, nobody wants to have separation. That's just like a common human thing, is to want unity, especially not in an environment where it's meant for people to be brought together. That's like half of what going to the gym is for, is getting in a good group of guys or girls, going to the gym and just having a good time working on yourself, And by creating that separation, that just basically demotivates people from not only wanting to go to the gym, but wanting to make progress and getting any bigger, because people will be like, oh, they're definitely not natty if they're still getting bigger. Well, some people just have those genetics to where they can put on an insane amount of muscle and still be natural, and some people have those genetics where they need PEDs just to have a decent looking physique that isn't even as good as somebody else naturally. And this kind of flows into the second point, where it just raises so many suspicions in people. I guarantee you that half of the people who are watching this have gone on to Instagram and seen a fitness influencer, and one of the first thoughts that comes to their mind is they're either natural or enhanced, right? So since natty or nots are so common, and if you've watched a decent amount of them or even seen a decent amount of thumbnails or videos being made on them, you're kind of automatically programmed to look at an influencer that you've never seen before, or maybe you've seen a couple times, and then you're thinking, are they natural or are they not natural? Which at the end of the day, it's somebody's choice to be natty or not. You can't really tell them what to do. You don't have control over another person's choices, right? So, people are enhanced for certain reasons. People are natural for certain reasons. I wouldn't say that being enhanced is necessarily what I would do, or that it's by any means the healthiest option, or in my opinion, I just don't think it's the right way to go. But that doesn't take away from the respect that I have for those people, and the fact that they've grinded and put countless hours into the gym working on themselves, trying to build the greatest physique or trying to build the most strength that they can. So at the end of the day, the cons of natty or nots is it just causes separation between people, and it programs people to think that the most important thing when looking at an influencer or having thoughts towards a content creator is, well, if they're natural, then I like them, or if they're not natural, then I don't. And maybe they are natural and you think that they're not natural, and then in your mind you think, oh, well, they're a fake natty, I shouldn't follow their advice because I don't think they're natural, but they claim to be. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like a cycle that people go through now, where it's all that people are being judged upon in the fitness content world is largely based on if they're natural or not. And if they haven't claimed either one, then people will almost assign one to them, or there will be a large consensus on if they are natural or not, and it'll kind of be like a community thing, and it could be completely wrong. And then, like I said before, this could take away the motivation that a content creator has to make any more progress or go to the gym. Or maybe they're like, I've been super shredded, I almost look enhanced, maybe I should bulk up. when they just want to be shredded because they just went on big bulk. And the whole point was to get shredded, but people are now claiming that they're not natural, and they still want to be known as natural. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that this necessarily occurs like all the time, but I also wouldn't say I've never seen it before, because I definitely have. So that's pretty much the cons side of it. I think the pros of it are that there are a lot of new lifters that will think that, they don't know anything about genetic potential or what an enhanced versus a natural lifter looks like. So they might look at someone such as Noah Dazel and think, oh, I can achieve that naturally, when he's obviously, opened up about his PED use, which I do commend him for that, because there's a lot of influencers that will just hide it or won't be honest about it, and not only won't be honest about it, but honest about the effects of it, and almost tell people, this isn't the best route for everyone. So, you have people, new lifters who think that they can develop a physique as good as an enhanced lifter, or as good as, C-bum or something like that. And they'll go and see all these people who even claim to be natural but are enhanced, that, they'll just think like, oh, if they're natural, I can work my way up to that physique, when in reality they can't. So I think that Natty or NOTS are good in a sense that if you have somebody who is experienced and educated in lifting and in bodybuilding and, just weightlifting in general, and if you have somebody who's really honest and not biased, and someone who's reliable, who does a Natty or not, then it could provide some insight to a new lifter on what a natural versus enhanced physique would look like, and what genetic potential really is. So I do think it's good for like the education side of beginner lifters, and just any lifter in general who might think that their genetic potential is more than what it really is. And also just like, if you see somebody who is claiming natural, is an influencer that's claiming natural, and they're putting out all these like meal and weightlifting plans, but really they're enhanced, you can obviously know that it's not just the meal prep and the lifting plans that got them to look the way that they are, but also the PED usage. So it's good in a sense for education and awareness that there is such thing as a genetic potential, and there are people who use PEDs, and there are people who claim to be natural and use PEDs, but there's also people who are natural and people claim that they use PEDs. So, it's just good for people who want insight on what natural versus enhanced looks like, and it's good for beginner lifters. I think, when I first started lifting, I wouldn't necessarily say that, I knew that I could have a physique like C-bum, within a couple years. Like I knew just from like doing some research before I started lifting, and then talking to people just about lifting, like what genetic potential really was like, what kind of bodybuilders are enhanced, what competitions are mostly used with, not used, but mostly have enhanced bodybuilder participants. So I kind of had a general idea of what natural versus enhanced looked like. And then after watching some Natty or NOTS by like Greg Doucette or Sean Nalo, however you pronounce his last name, it just, provided good insight for me, and really just knowing what natural versus enhanced looks like. So at the end of the day, there are some pros and some cons to Natty or NOTS. I just think that, if you are trying to figure out, what genetic potential looks like, or really a good difference between natural versus enhanced, I definitely recommend trying to find somebody who you either trust or who is reliable in providing insight for you. I wouldn't say like I said before, that I'm like the hugest fan of Natty or Nots, just because I feel like it creates separation within the community. But I also think that they can be a good thing in terms of educating people on, what a natural versus enhanced physique looks like and what somebody's genetic potential really is. And at the end of the day, everybody's different. Some people want to be natural, and some people have goals beyond that. So those are some of my thoughts on Natty or Nots. With that being said, I'll be making more fitness and also music content coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And I hope you have a great day.